When trying to decide which javelin is right for you or your athlete, there are several things to consider. Whether you're a professional thrower or a recreational thrower, there are numerous variations to consider. Let's start by taking a look at some of the differences between javelins. First, you can have a difference in the diameter of the shaft. Next, you can have significant variation in the thickness of the tip, along with the shape of the tip itself. Lastly, there can be variation in the composition of the javelin, whether it's made from steel, aluminum, or carbon fiber. But some of the components that are standardized in order to qualify as a usable implement in competition include the overall length, the grip, and the weight. The combination of these variations will lead javelins to fall into several categories, with the two most commonly used being the wind direction, which you can see noted here in our catalog as U for universal, T for tailwind, or H for headwind. And this is definitely where your more advanced throwers are going to travel to meets with several varieties of javelins in their bags, not knowing exactly what the weather conditions will bring that day. The other major category in javelins is the flex, or stiffness. You can see here it's noted in the middle column, with the top being 11.1 and towards the bottom 7.2. Now, to make things easy, for years manufacturers and retailers would only publish the range the javelin was intended to fly, with 50 meters being on the low end and 80 to 90 meters being on the high end. That range correlated to stiffness. So your 50-meter javelin had less stiffness and your 90-meter javelin had more stiffness. So what does all this mean in terms of flight? Well, a softer javelin is going to be much more forgiving and will allow a thrower with poor mechanics to still get a decent flight, because the misdirected energy in their release will be absorbed by the flex, still allowing it to go generally straight. So when trying to decide which javelin is right for you or your athlete, you will want to consider how developed that athlete's technical capabilities are, and just how well they can throw that javelin through the point. One last thing you'll want to consider before making your purchase is the quality of the implement. There are numerous variations to the manufacturing process, the quality of materials, and how much that implement is inspected before it's shipped. Those variations can greatly impact just how straight the javelin is and its ability to stay straight over time. Having said all that, it would not be uncommon for a well-developed javelin program to have everything from VS, Aussie jabs, through Cantabrians, and Denflies, all the way up to Namaths in their inventories, so that they're ready to match the perfect javelin to where their thrower is technically at that time.